What if I told you that the answer to one of history's greatest mountaineering mysteries is frozen in time? That the proof of who first stood atop the roof of the world is not a body or a diary, but a small, silent, mechanical witness. Locked in ice for a century, this is not just a story of a mountain. This is a story of a ghost that takes the form of a missing camera. And the haunting, final photograph it may contain: two men vanished into the clouds, just 800 vertical feet from glory. They carried with them a secret, and we have been searching for it ever since. This is the ultimate holy grail. To understand the weight of this mystery, you must first feel the atmosphere of the age. The year is 1924. The British Empire, still reeling from the unspeakable trauma of the Great War, turns its eyes to the last great earthly frontier, the Third Pole. Mount Everest, *Chomolungma*, the goddess mother of the world, an unconquered deity of rock and ice. For the men of the British Mount Everest expeditions, this was not merely a climb, it was a redemption, a national obsession, a way to prove that the human spirit, so shattered in the trenches, could still achieve the sublime. And at the heart of this obsession were two men: George Lee Mallory, the quintessential climber, a philosopher of the heights, a man who famously answered because it's there when asked why climb Everest, but his friends knew his drive was deeper, more poetic. And Andrew Sandy, Irvine, the young, robust engineer, a genius with the newfangled oxygen apparatus they would trust with their lives. An unlikely duo bound by a single, audacious goal. But Everest is not just a mountain. It is a living, breathing entity of malice. It has a voice, the deafening roar of the jet stream wind. It has weapons, hidden crevices, avalanches that sound like the world cracking, and a cold that doesn't just bite. It consumes asterisk. And it has a gallery, the dead, those who dared and failed, their bodies preserved in a silent, icy vigil. Mallory and Irvine knew the stakes. They had seen the mountain's fury. Yet, on the morning of June 8, 1924, they left their high camp and stepped into the mist. Towards the summit, towards immortality, towards death. The last sighting was through a telescope far below. A fellow climber saw two tiny, black figures navigating a rock step high on the mountain's shoulder. Then the clouds rolled in for good. They were never seen alive again. The disappearance spawned the century-old mystery: did they make it? But the true core of the enigma is not just asterisk, where asterisk they fell. It is asterisk, what asterisk they carried. Mallory had promised his wife, Ruth, that he would place a photograph of her on the summit. He carried that photograph, and more crucially, they carried a vest pocket Kodak camera, a small, simple device, the key to everything. If they reached the summit, they would have taken a photograph. That camera, with its film still potentially developable after a century in the deep freeze, is the ultimate witness. The Holy Grail. The search for their bodies became a psychological quest for this ghost. For 75 years, the mountain kept its secret. Then, in 1999, on a desperate, windswept slope at 27,000 feet, climber Conrad Anker made a discovery that stopped the world. A patch of white, bleached by the sun, not snow, skin. George Mallory lying face down, arms extended as if in arrest of a fall, preserved almost perfectly by the cold. His name tag was still legible on his tattered clothing. The moment was not triumphant. It was profoundly solemn. Here was the man, the myth, reduced to a tragic, frozen fact. But the camera was not with him. His snow goggles were in his pocket, suggesting he was descending in darkness, perhaps after a late summit push. Ruth's photograph was not found. The discovery answered one question, how he died, but it deepened the central mystery. Where was Sandy Irvine, and where was the camera? This is where the mystery turns inwards, into the mindset of the searchers. To look for Irvine is to wander a vast, high-altitude graveyard, where every glimpse of color could be a shred of a 1920s tint, or the body of another lost soul. The mountain is littered with the fallen from all eras, each one a story of ambition meeting its absolute limit. To search is to confront your own mortality, to walk among ghosts, hoping to find one specific ghost who holds a singular secret. It is an archaeological dig in the sky, where the stakes are not just historical, but profoundly moral. Do we disturb these tombs? Do we seek the camera, if it means intruding upon a young man's final resting place? The mountain gives no easy answers, only wind and cold and silence. So why does this lost camera haunt us so deeply? It transcends mountaineering. It taps into the fundamental human compulsions that drive all our uncovered mysteries. It is the obsession with the asterisk definitive answer asterisk, the itch that the incomplete historical record leaves on our psyche. We have a man, but not his final act. We have a story, but not its last page. The camera is that last page. Mallory and Irvine represent the pure, almost irrational flame of ambition, the mindset that asks what if, and is willing to pay asterisk everything asterisk to know. In their doomed push, we see our own struggles against impossible odds, our own personal Everests. The camera is the physical manifestation of that what if. Finding it would be one of the most profound historical discoveries of our age. It would rewrite the story of human adventure in a single, frozen frame. But not finding it may be equally powerful. Perhaps the camera's eternal silence is the greater lesson. It reminds us that some mysteries are meant to remain, that in our data-saturated age, the existence of an unanswered question is a sacred thing. It keeps the story alive, allows it to breathe in our imagination. The lost camera forces us to sit with uncertainty, to contemplate not just what happened on that day in 1924, but asterisk why we need to know asterisk. Is it for history, for glory, for closure, or is it simply because the human mind is drawn to the shadowy edge of the map, to the faint, ghostly signal in the static? The mindset of the explorer, the detective, the philosopher, it is all the same. We are driven by the beautiful, terrifying unknown. Today, the mountain stands as it always has. The winds scour the northeast ridge where Mallory and Irvine made their last bid. Sandy Irvine's body and the camera remain elusive. They are out there, somewhere in that vast, cold cathedral, perhaps tucked into a rocky alcove, perhaps buried under a century of snow, perhaps waiting for a shift in the ice, a chance beam of light, to reveal its hiding place. The search continues, not just on the mountain, but in our minds. Every time we look at a blurred old photo and try to sharpen it, every time we ponder an unfinished story, we are climbing that ridge with them. We are all searching for our own lost cameras, the evidence that will make sense of our struggles, that will prove we reached our summits. If you are drawn to the shadows of history, to the psychological forces that push humans to the brink, subscribe and hit the bell. Because we don't just uncover mysteries. We delve into the mindset that creates them, that searches for them, that is forever changed by them. Asterisk asterisk, share your thoughts below. Asterisk asterisk, do you believe the camera will ever be found? And if it is developed and found to be empty, what then? Sometimes the most powerful truth is not in what is developed, but in what is forever waiting in the dark.